Hey y'all, so this week we're actually going to start weaving. So for this project, you're going to need your Plarn, and if you weren't able to make your Plarn, if you have any other type of yarn or fabric or string, you can use that. A paper plate for our loom, a scissor to cut your plate, and a Sharpie to mark it. So first off, I'm using the little lines that you can see on the edge of the plate, and I'm just using that to figure out where to mark my plate. So I'm making one mark on one side, and directly across from it, I'm going to make a mark on the other side. And I'm going to do this a few times. I actually stopped when I got 16 marks. You can see I'm just cutting the paper plate in half and turning it. One mark on one side, and then a mark on the other side. Now you can use those lines to help you, but they're not going to be exactly half, so you may have to do it as directly across as you can. It's okay if it's not perfect. Try to do this until you get 16 marks. Every mark should have a mark directly across from it, and that's why we end up getting about 16. Even if you don't have 16, if you have an even number, that is okay. Also, if you're not able to weave, but you can crochet or knit, or you know how to make something else out of yarn, you can use your Plarn to do that instead of weaving, as long as you go into the seesaw activity and you're able to identify what is your loom, what is your weft, and what is your warp. Once you have made all 16 marks and you've made sure you've double checked or counted, go ahead and take your scissors and snip right along where you made those marks. Make sure not to double snip a section, and make sure they're all snipped enough that you can insert the yarn there later. Now we need our Plarn. Make sure you have it all kind of wrapped up together still. Find the end of it, and then we actually want to flip our plate over while keeping the yarn together. I know it's a loop, but you want to act like it's one piece of string. And what I'm going to do here is actually tape the yarn to the middle of the plate on the back. So right where I think the middle is, I'm just going to tape it. Now I'm flipping my plate over while keeping my yarn at the top of the plate, and I'm going to put it through that first slit. Then I'm going to come straight down to the slit that looks like it's straight across, and put the yarn through that slit as well. Now I'm not changing the position of my plate. I'm just going to bring the yarn behind the back of the plate and come to the slit directly to the top right. I'm going to cross in front of my first section of yarn and come down to the slit that I think is directly across. And then we're going to keep doing this process. Come back up from the top and behind to the slit on the right. Feed it through the one that's directly across. Come back up to the slit that's on the top and directly to the right. And then feed it down to the one that's directly across. Notice that during this process, I am not skipping any slits at the top, nor am I skipping any slits at the bottom. Now that all of your slits have a piece of yarn through them once, now take your yarn and go through the beginning slit one last time, making sure that it's directly across. I almost put it in the wrong one, so double check yourself. And once you have it going through that slit one last time, flip your plate over. Go ahead and snip off your yarn. It doesn't matter where you snip it off at, because you'll just tie it back later. And then what I like to do is, again, take my yarn down in the back. So now you have made your loom, which is your paper plate, and you have also placed your warp onto your loom, which is the strands of yarn going across your paper plate right now. I know that you can pull these apart because they were loops, but we're just going to pretend that like they're one piece of string, so keep that in mind. So next week I'll release part 3, and I'll show you how to start putting your weft, or what you have left of your Plarn, into the paper plate to actually start weaving. But as of right now, this is where we're going to stop for this week, or part 2.